private school that wants to have it. And that,
Okay, we are preparing to go live, good people. We got a couple of people waiting in the waiting room, so it's setting up to go. It's going live. I think we are live. Yes, we are live. We got a couple of people that's in the waiting room that's waiting. We got this person's waiting. Let them in, and then we go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. If you get opportunity, go ahead on and share it.
okay.
Please share it. And if you're not speaking, please mute your phones for me, please. So everybody's here. They are connecting on. We go ahead and get started. Let me do this one thing here.
Programmed her first computer at 8.
Her parents traveled abroad for work. Nora traveled with them. She's fluent in 6 different languages.
So Neil's a super spy.
Yeah.
Who's she working with?
Nora traveled to Hong Kong. Recently shared a PhD dissertation on cybersecurity.
Okay.
Those last 6 weeks, she ended up staying 6 months.
There must be something in China where it's
Let me do this. Hold on for 1 second. Share screen. So we are Facebook Live. Share screen.
The body at the back of the warehouse was raped by professionals.
Could be Ministry of State Security.
Chinese intelligence, yeah, makes sense.
So if you're not, I need the someone to share mute their phone, please.
All before she joined DIA.
Deputy, Captain. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for our council meeting. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to open up and call the meeting to order. I'm hoping for someone else to come in. I see Noah Martin's trying to come in. I'm gonna do this thing full screen. So welcome, 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 welcome. We're with the Pine Hills Community Council meeting. I want to recognize if we have any, before I do that, let's call the meeting to order. It is what time? 6:35. We're calling this meeting to order. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to open up in prayer and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Letting people in as they come in. Hey, Noah, thanks for joining us. So let's open up in prayer. Are you in, Noah Martin? Can you open up in prayer, please?
Driving. I know who's having a Zoom.
Say that again.
I'm driving.
Okay, no problem. I'll open in prayer. Thank you for this opportunity, God. Thank you for this time to come together and discuss the meeting of the Pine Hills Community Council and give us understanding and wisdom to move in the direction that you would have us to go. But you already know the plans for this area and the plans for all of our life, that we will move and do things in decent in order to prepare the business that you have before us today. Amen. So let's do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I will lead us into a Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
and
and
to
to
the
the republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty,
and
and
justice for all.
justice for all.
Again, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Please, if you're not speaking, keep your phone on your intercom on mute. And thank you so much. We're going to go ahead on and recognize today any elected officials here today and share. Share this with your friends. We are Facebook Live, so please share so as many people as possible in this Pine Hills community can know what's going on in this area. So please feel free to share this with on your Facebook page. Do we have any elected officials here? I know we have our school board, Ms. Vicki Elaine Felton. You want to introduce yourself again to some of those, Vicki, that are just coming on the line? Just quickly introduce yourself again.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Vicki Lane Fellow School Board Member for District 5. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for being here tonight. Do we have any other elected officials on the line, or a representation, a representative from the elected official office?
Yes.
Rose Nancy with Commissioner Siplin's office, Orange County District 6.
Thank you, Ms. Rose Nancy. Anyone else?
Yes, my name
Charlene,
is Usha Tawari, and I'm representing Orange County Property Appraiser Amy Mercado's office.
Thank you, Yusha, for being with us tonight. For Orange County Property Appraiser Office. Ms. Charlene?
Charlene Gatlin, Public Affairs and Community Outreach Specialist for the Orange County Clerk of Courts.
Thank you, Charlene. And usually we have, thank you so much for y'all for joining in and with us tonight. And usually we have Peggy from Representative Val Dennis' office, but Peggy emailed me earlier and said that she would not be able to join us tonight. Ms. Landra is usually here for the Orange County Tax Collector. Is Landra Roberson here? Okay, no Landra's here. So we will continue with our meeting. And I sent out the minutes to a board member, to Pine Hills Community Council members. So you should have received a copy of your minutes yesterday or Sunday. So if you had an opportunity to review the minutes, I need a motion to approve the minutes. Are y'all there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I am. Motion to approve.
Can I get a second to approve the minutes?
Seconded by Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, people. This is our agenda for tonight. We did the call to order. Welcome everyone again for being here tonight. We have some first timers on this call, so thank you very much for being here tonight. And we just went through the approval of the minutes for the Pine Hills Community Council. But those here for the first time, let me back up and introduce myself. I'm Patricia Rump. I am the president of the Pine Hills Community Council. And the Pine Hills Community Council is a 501c4 nonprofit civic organization that we represent over 70,000 residents in the Pine Hills area. And we represent them for the better of this community. There's several board members here on this call tonight. Pine Hills Community Council would not be what it is without the board that we have. So board members, just quickly say hello to the new members that's coming on and viewing us tonight. Okay, let me do it this way.
Hello everybody, this is Noel.
Thank you,
This
Noel.
is Noel, the Vice President, just saying hello to everyone. I'm driving in traffic, so I'm sorry if I'm not sure myself because we're in a dark car.
Okay, so Noel Martin is the first Vice President. Do we have Pastor Joey on the call tonight? So no Pastor Joey, he's the second Vice President. Do we have Bettina Bush? She's our Secretary.
I'm here.
Thank you, Bettina, for being on the call tonight, our Secretary. Ms. Van is not here. Ms. Van is our Treasurer. She's a little under weather. She asked me to do the Treasury report, and I will do that next. Then we have our members at large. We have Ms. Sandra Batney Hall.
Yes, hello everyone, good evening. And we, if I may take the liberty, we have Miss Myra Johnson at tier and also Mr. Dennis Hall as well.
Thank you very much, Sandra, Dennis, and Ms. Myra. We have Dr. LaTanya Nichols. She's Director at Large.
Hi, everyone. I'm LaTanya Nichols. Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. John Williams, he's the Director at Large.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the call.
Thank you, John. I think we have Ken on the line. Ken is a board member. Is Ken on here? I saw Ken sign in. Kenneth, excuse me, Kenneth sign in. Kenneth Dwyer, are you there? Okay. So those are our board members. Thank you all again for being on the call tonight. And again, share this conversation with the other on your Facebook feed. So we did the approval of the minutes. Let's go to our treasury report. That's very tiny. I hope you can see this. So I'm gonna put my magnifying glass here so I can see it because I don't have a copy in front of me. But this is our February treasurer's report. And the income for the month of February came from dues, $648.48 from dues. So our total income for the month of February was $648. Our expenses for February was $61.25. And that expense is an expense for, we signed up on Sunbiz again, filling out in our incorporation papers again. So I'm gonna go all the way down to the end, and right now, the total fund in the balance is $13,405.51. That's our treasury report. Let me get someone to approve the treasury report, please.
I make a motion that we approve the treasury report as presented or with any necessary corrections.
Okay, thank you very
I
much.
second.
Okay, moved by Ms. Sandra and second by no, thank you very much. Thank you. Move on down the agenda because we want to get to our speakers here and go through our committee reports. It's Orange County Sheriff Office report. We have someone from the Orange County Sheriff Department here.
Yes, you have Dennis Ela. I'm a newly assigned captain in Pine Hills in Sector 3. I'm pleased to be here and speak with you all.
Well, thank you, Dennis, because usually Captain Joe Carter is the one to give the report.
Oh, well, maybe he's going to join us as well. I do not know, but
so where is Sector 3 is my mistake. Sector 3 is South Pine Hills.
That's correct.
Yes. South of Silver Star Road would be in Sector 3, and north of Silver Star Road would be Sector 1. Yes, ma'am. So
Captain Carter is Sector 1.
Yes.
So do you have any reports? Can you give us any kind of report as what's been going on in the Pine Hills area?
So what I could tell you without possibly wasting a lot of time and boring you with a lot of details is that I'm pleased to tell you the numbers across the board on crime in Pine Hills are down significantly. I think that Captain Marlowe, my predecessor, worked very, very hard to create some great partnerships with your group and other groups. And it's apparent to me in my short time here so far that that's been an effective strategy. So I hope to continue to keep those commitments to you and those communications going so we can keep that trend going.
Thank you. Now, will you put your information in the chat for us? Because this is your first time meeting with us, right?
Yes, it is. I certainly will. I'll put some information in there for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It just came to my mind. Thank you, Melissa. Melissa, thank you, Captain Dennis. And we hope that you'll be on our call for us each month.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Let me go back and because I did forget another director of the board, Melissa Service. Melissa, say hello. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. My apologies. Let us see your face, Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Hi, this is Melissa Service. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Speaking of the Orange County Sheriff Report, I want to share some good news here. Can everybody see this? Yep. The screen? Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Thank you, Orange County Sheriff. Orange County Sheriff, for the first time this year, I believe, the first time that you all did a community crime prevention grant, where part of the money that was collected from a drug siege, that you put the money, some of that money back into the community. I think y'all put $100,000 back into the community. So this is forfeiture money that came from drug siege. And so the Orange County Sheriff awarded about 15 different agencies grant dollars that promoted crime prevention, crime education in some kind of way. And I'm happy to say that 2 of the Pine Hills Community Council's partners, I'm sure there's other organizations that are located in Pine Hills, but these are 2 of our partners with the council. You just heard from one of our board members, Ms. Sandra Fatney Hall. Her organization called the United Foundation of Central Florida. It's a mentoring program and an after-school program and enrichment programs that is for our youth. She's a United Foundation. They call themselves Fluites, Future Leaders United. And the flu ice are in several schools in the Pine Hills area. The mentoring program is in Evans, Ridgewood Park, and I think Robbinswood and probably Middlesbrough. So congratulations to Sandra and the United Foundation for being awarded the grant dollars. You see that check says for $10,000. And then another one of the council partners received grant dollars. It is foster care. It's called Embrace Families. Embrace Families is located in Kissimmee. However, Ms. Esma Dennis, are you on the line, Ms. Esmond? Because she's usually here every month.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Ms. Esmond. Ms. Esmond has joined the council. She's the foster care recruiter for the Pine Hills area. And she is a partner of the Pine Hills Community Council. So we're so excited for you, Ms. Esmond, and the agency that you work for, Embrace Families and United Foundations of Central Florida. And thank you, Orange County Sheriff, for awarding those grants. Thank you very much. So we're going to continue with our agenda. Where am I on the agenda? We took care of that. We're going to move to the agenda. I know part of the agenda earlier says the presidential report, but the presidential report is going to, which I would normally give, is going to be included in a lot of these committee reports. And as you can see, the committee report says 2 minutes, please, and the committee report. So I'm going to do the first committee report for the beautification and the anti-litter. But that committee is headed up by Ms. Myra Johnson and Pastor Joey. And just briefly what we did, I'm doing this in 2 minutes. We are focusing on promoting a litter-free community. This past Saturday, we had a monthly Pick Up Pine Hills Community Day. We had about 30 people to show up and to clean up the area. This past Saturday, we focused on Hastings, Silver Star, Hastings going toward Colonial. Had a great turnout there. And then we focus also on Powers, going south from Silver Star, going toward Colonials on Powers. We do this every month, once a month. However, we normally do this the fourth Saturday of the month. But however, in March, we would not be going out on the fourth Saturday. Ms. Myra and the Anti-Litter Committee has partnered up with Adopt a Highway. You may have seen some Adopt a Highway signs in different areas in the county. And that's an Orange County project, Adopt a Highway, where different agencies has pledged to clean and keep a certain area of the road clean. And so what Ms. Myra, I need everyone to mute their calls, please. So what Ms. Myra has done is that she has made contact with the different nonprofit organizations in Pine Hills who say they would adopt a highway, and to let them know that we want to partner with them. So this Saturday at 9 o'clock, this particular organization has pledged to, with the county, to keep Silver Star and Pine Hills Road clean. So Ms. Myra looked them up, and they'll be there this Saturday at 9 o'clock. So for those that want to partner up with the Pine Hills Community Council and this organization, meet us Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on the corner of Silver Star and Pine Hills Road.
The flyer says 8 o'clock.
No.
No. That flyer says 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, Bettina, the first one. That is this Saturday. Next Saturday is 8 o'clock. Next Saturday, we will be on Hiwassee at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
There are two actually.
Yes, ma'am, it is. It's two. It's two. So thank you, Beautification and Anti-Litter Committee, for doing this. They are doing a lot more. If you want to be a part of this committee, go to our website at info at Pine Hills. I'm gonna grab this card. Go to our website and sign up and learn more about what we are doing. Our website is pinehills.info, and send us a message, please. That's our Beautification Committee. So our next committee is our Legislative and Zoning Committee. I'm gonna jump to the Zoning Committee. And I want to talk briefly about the zoning committee. The Pine Hills Community Council has working with several HOAs along the Clarkona-Ocoee corridor. This piece of property here is on the corner of Powers and Clarkona-Ocoee. This is Clarkona-Ocoee Road. This is Powers Drive. This is that Family Dollar that's there. So this piece of property is under construction, which is great. We are excited about development coming in our area, but we want high-end development. We want development that's going to increase our property value. So we are concerned about we've heard that may be going into that property. Not only what we heard, but we were able to go onto the Orange County property appraiser and look at the address, and we saw some things that they tossing around that could be going there, such as a liquor store, a laundromat, a Checkers, a fast food restaurant, and Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you.
And a cell phone company.
And cell phone company. This is Deborah. She lives in that area, so we have been having meetings together. So I want to bring this out to the community attention because, again, we welcome development. We want development that's going to not bring our property value down. That's going to be an eyesore to our community. That's going to promote crime. That's going to promote transit and promote litter in the area. So again, this is an item here. So what we met with Regency Park HOA, Chathamwood HOA, Long Lake Hills HOA, and Carolina Estates HOA, the council did. And we've been meeting. What we're proposing to do at this point, and which we have done, is wrote a letter to our commissioner that is in District 2. We wrote a letter to our commissioner. We copied that letter to the mayor, and we're asking for a community meeting with our commissioner and with the division planning and zoning manager and the property owner to discuss our concerns of what is being developed here. And we're also formulating a petition. So if you're interested in partnering up with us and you're concerned about this neighborhood and your neighborhood as well, again, go to our website, email me, and let me know that you're concerned as well and that you're ready to come on board and get an understanding of what's going on in this area. So that's the legislation part of it. Deborah, did you want to say anything?
No, I think you've done a great job of summarizing what our concerns are and inviting people to collaborate with us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. The other part of this, does anyone have any questions? No, okay. So we did beautification committee, we did zoning, the legislative committee. Just briefly, if you think about it, last year was 2020 census. Every 10 years when there's a census, there's an opportunity to redraw the lines and to redistrict this area. They do it at the county level all over. So there's opportunity for each county commissioner to appoint 2 people from their district and the mayor to appoint 3 people at large to serve on the redistrict committee. So this is something that we need to pay attention to. If you're not interested in serving on the committee, please follow this, or please follow the redistrict advisory committee when they set up. I'll listen to the presentation from the Board of County Commissioner, and they looking to start. Normally they would start these advisory committee in April, but we do not have all the census data in at this time. So it'll be pushed back probably until early this summer. But it's important that we follow through to make sure that we get these things done, that we're not cut out or cut in and sliced up in our committee, in our district. The other important thing with this legislatively, based on the population and the population growth, we have opportunity to gain 2 more congressional seats because of the population growth. So that's a good thing. Ms. Rose Nancy, you're on the call. Do you want to add anything about this, Ms. Rose Nancy, but from District 6?
No, you did a great job. What I would like to add is I also included some helpful PowerPoint slides from the Orange County BCC meeting about redistricting. And I also included the actual video, so you don't have to watch the entire meeting. If you are subscribed to Commissioner Siplin's newsletter, you would have received that this past Friday. But if you're interested in receiving the newsletter that contains the meetings and the helpful slides about redistricting, please send me a message via the chat with your email address, and I'll be happy to send that to you, or you can email me directly to actually text me, because my name is pretty long. Text me your email address to 407-274-8563. That is my county mobile. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Let's stay engaged, people. Okay, the Pine Hills Neighborhood Improvement District. Sam Weekly.
I have a question on the redistricting.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes they hold public hearings in different parts of Orange County. I would just like to have something in Pine Hills where we could attend a public hearing when they make out the schedule.
Amen.
That was one of the discussion. Rose Nancy, you want to chime in?
Yeah, public hearings are part of the plan.
And that was one of the discussions that they talked about, that they will hold, each commissioner is to hold meetings in their district. Now, keep in mind, District 2 and District 6 and District 1, they're a huge district. So District 2 or District 1 may or may not come to Pine Hills. That's something that you may want to, not may want to, but address with your county commissioner. But that was a statement that made in that presentation that asked that they will hold meetings in their district, Bettina. Good question. And the video is on like 45 minutes. I listened to it, it's on like 45 minutes. So thank you, Ms. Rose Nancy, for saying that you shared that information with everyone. So please do that. Pine Hills Neighborhood Improvement District, Sam Weekly is not here, but they meet tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning, the Pine Hills Neighborhood Improvement District focus on the business part of the Pine Hills area. I'm trying to stay true to time because I want to bring up the speakers at a decent time. So they come in on the business part, and he's not here today. Pine Hills Safe Neighborhood, Ms. Clouden, 2 minutes, please.
Hi, everyone. As Patricia said, my name is Rosalind Clouden. I'm the president of the Pine Hills Safe Neighborhood Partnership. And what we do is that we work with communities, neighborhoods to address issues that cause neighborhoods to decline. We help with neighborhood improvements. We work with Orange County Neighborhood Services, and those electrical boxes you see painted, we are responsible for those. We are working on signs, entrance signs into Pine Hills. We already have 2 of them at Clark-Onokoye Road and Hiawassee Road, and Apopka Vineland Road and Silver Star Road. Our boundaries are Clark-Onokoye Road, also Vineland Road and Pine Hills Road North. We have 408 from Apopka Vineland Road to Pine Hills Road, Orlando City Line, and 408 Apopka Vineland Road to Clark-Onokoye Road. We are asking for membership. We want neighborhoods, individuals to join us, because it takes just one resident to join the Pine Hills Safe Neighborhood Partnership, and we are able to help with beautification and grants. Our meeting is next Thursday, the 11th at 6:30 p.m. And at that time, I'm not sure if you all heard about the Orange County roof replacement program. we are having Lucy Giotto from Habitat for Humanity at our meeting, and she'll be discussing the program and all of the criteria. So if you can get your neighborhoods, especially the elderly, anybody who you can get to join the meeting, we'll be able to help them with getting, if they qualify, to get their roof repaired or replaced. I have my information, my Pine Hill Safe
Ms. Roslyn, put the Pine Hill Safe Neighborhood stuff in the chat so people will be able to. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's in the chat.
Yep. So hopefully I'll see you all for our meeting next Thursday. It's gonna be they're gonna have some great information for everyone. Your neighbors, if you have neighbors who need a roof repaired, just join us and we can get that great information.
Thank you, Roslyn.
Okay.
I see, thank you. I see Ken Dwyer has joined us, and he's also Pine Hills Community Council board member. And I see Ms. Landry Roberson has joined us. She is representing the Orange County tax collector. Ms. Landry, you want to say hello? And Ken? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Patricia Rump and the Pine Hills Community Council for all the work that you do. And I just had a quick announcement. The Orange County Tax Collector is hiring. So if you all are looking for employment, look at our website because we are hiring. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Moving through the committee report, we got 2 more committee reports, then we'll bring up our speakers here. Evans High School. We are partnered with Evans High School. In case you may not be aware, Evans High School is a community school. They're probably the only community school here. So we're happy to be a Pine Hills Community Council, happy to be a partnership with Evans High School. Ms. Alexander, take it over from Evans High School. 2 minutes, please.
No problem. Thank you so much. So just a couple of quick announcements. Because of the times we're in and the pandemic, we have started to do home visits to students. So any students who are not logging on or we feel that they will be more successful coming back to school, we are doing home visits so we can talk to those students and their parents. We have expanded that home visit team and now it includes teachers and we're doing evening visits and weekend visits. With that, we are also doing extra tutoring opportunities. So of course, on Tuesdays and Thursday after school, students can stay for tutoring, but we also have some Saturday opportunities for students to come in, make up work, make up tests, and do some boot camp sessions with their teachers. We also are doing health and wellness screenings every month with our healthcare partner, Orange Blossom Family Health. So if you know any students at Evans or even as community members, if you want to come in and get a medical screening of any kind or a dental screening, we are doing those things as well. Today, we also solidified our Trojan Service Week date. So that week will be April 26th. And due to COVID, everything will be virtual, but even better, that means everyone can participate. So our biggest push this year is going to be a random act of kindness challenge, and you will be receiving more information that you can share with the community on how they can participate and how we can do good during this time. We are also recruiting mentors. Volunteers are now allowed to come on campus. So mentoring opportunities are once a week to come and meet with a student for about an hour. We also are recruiting tutors. So if you know anybody who would like to come on campus and tutor either during the day or after school, they can email volunteers@ecs@gmail.com, and I will put that information in the chat if you know anybody who is interested. And lastly, we have received our graduation date. So it will be on May 27th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you so much.
I have a question. So how is that working out with the home visit? What has been the results of that? How's that working out?
It's going really well because we're able to see during that time what other resources the students and the families they need, and just helping them to make sure that they can be successful, whether they decide to stay at home or come back. As you know, in the beginning of the year, they had to wait until the beginning of the quarter to choose to come back, but now we're allowing to come every week. So it's been going very well, and we see that we're able to connect our students to mental health counseling if that's what they need, or extra food. So it's been going very well.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Evan. Thank you. Thank you. Great job.
Excuse me, Miss Turnley, what are the dates for Trojan Week again?
So it is going to be April 26th. So that week, we will have a flyer and come out with other events. So look forward to more information.
All right, thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you. And our last but not least committee report is the MLK initiative. Ms. Sandra Fatman Hall, that's the Orange County Mayor Initiative for the MLK.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me, Madam President. This is really brief. As you know, this committee was put together to work on the initiatives of Dr. Martin Luther King. Of course, you know, his big initiative was nonviolence in all the areas, and recently had our MLK Lunch and Learn. We have an upcoming meeting this month where we'll get more information and to solidify the dates that are upcoming. So as soon as I get more information and more dates, I will share them with this board, and then we can push them out to all those that are on this call.
Thank you, everyone, for the committee reports. And I just want to say, doing a great job. The membership has increased with the council. And with the increased membership comes increased responsibility. So if you're a member of the council, go to our Facebook page, not our Facebook page, go to our website. And our website, I keep looking at this card, I should know it by now, I know Facebook, is pinehills.info. Our Facebook page is pinehills.info. Please go to our Facebook page, sign up for a committee. The committee responsibilities and duties are there. We're here for you. The other thing I want to say is that if you're not a member, please join the council. We're doing great things in the community. I was thinking about today that this year, this month, is a year that we launched our virtual meeting. Last year, we was here for the first time virtually, but we were only here because we had planned ahead to expand our social media platform. And that takes finances to do what we're doing. So it's only for adults to become a member of the council, it's only $20 a year for an adult. If you're senior, I think it's 65 or older, 55 or older, go on the website. It's $15. If you're a youth, it's $5 or $10. I'm just giving away deals right now. But anyway, if you're an agency such as the Orange County Tax Collector is a member, and that's only $50 a year. If you're having a business and we advertise your business, such as Dr. B with, where's Dr. B? With his business. He's a physical therapist. The business and is only $100 a year. So join us, support the Pine Hills Community Council so we can continue the work that we're doing in the community. With that being said, and again, if you're not, let's move that was a program. I said it was called Paris. There we go. So let's move along. We're in good time. I'm looking at the agenda, and we're at the old business part of the agenda. We don't have any old business, so we're going to move right into, unless, am I missing anything, board members? Is there any old business that we need to be covering right now? Okay, so there's no old business that we need to be covering now. So let's move on to the new business. And with our guest speaker here, we have MetroPlan, Ms. Virginia Whittington, and we have Lynx, Mr. Jeff. So let's welcome our guests here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Ms. Whittington, you're up. So I need to share screen with you.
Let me see if I can share this. It says it's disabled.
Okay, let me see if I can share.
You need to allow me to.
Yes, ma'am. I need to do this and drop down, allow.
And as you are doing that, I just want to say thank you so much for having me this evening, recognizing everyone in their respective places, Madam President, and all of the board directors and vice presidents. It's great to see so many familiar faces. Bettina, it's been a while since I've seen you, but it's really good to see you. Vicky, I haven't seen you since your election. Congratulations on your election to the school board. It's really good to see you. Sandra, congratulations on your marriage. It's been a long time since I've seen you, but it's really good to be here with everyone. And I have a blast from my past. Ms. Carwise was actually part of my photography team for my wedding 23 years ago. I was married
Oh,
to my husband.
wow.
This past Sunday, we celebrated 23 years, and Miss Carwise was part of my photography team back in the day. So it's great to make that connection as well. I am the Director of Regional Partnerships with MetroPlan Orlando. I've been with MetroPlan Orlando for 24 years. So I have deep roots with this organization. And I am proud to call Pine Hills my home. I live off of Hiawassee, near Balboa. Robbinswood Middle School is in my backyard, pretty much. And so I am right here in the heart of Pine Hills, and it's great to be here on tonight. I am going to share a little bit with you all. Let me make sure I can get this up. Thank you for allowing me to get this up here. But one thing here I gotta do.
I made you co-host, so would that allow you to share?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
share.
good, perfect.
I gotta get the right one up here.
Okay, good.
Here we go.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, is everyone able to see that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right. So the one thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that this is a little interactive as well. So if you all can do me a favor and locate your reactions buttons down there. And if you will, those of you who are in the Zoom, if you can give me a thumbs up if you have heard of MetroPlan Orlando. If you know who MetroPlan Orlando is, give me a thumbs up. Good job. Nice, nice, nice. I see the thumbs up. This way I know who I'm talking to. Wonderful. Well, MetroPlan Orlando, and this presentation tonight is going to cover the basics of our organization. It's going to cover some of the transportation projects that are underway, and some of our, and especially our recently adopted plan that goes out to the year 2045. And I remember when I first joined MetroPlan Orlando, when we would say we were planning for 2040 and 2045, the person's response would always be, well, I'm not going to be around then. Well, I don't know. I did the math, and I really hope I am around, because after having worked on this stuff for so long, I really want to see it come to fruition. And so tonight, I'm going to share just a little bit with you, and then my colleague Jeff Rainey is going to talk to you more about Lynx. And then if you have any questions, if you want to drop those in the chat box, some of them we may be able to get to, and others we may have to follow up with you a little bit later. So MetroPlan Orlando is a regional transportation planning organization for Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Our footprint covers these three counties, and we're not unique in that we are a metropolitan planning organization. There are 26 others around the state of Florida. Where we are unique is that we cover three counties. And where we are unique is that our service area is bigger than the state of Delaware. It's larger than the state of Delaware. And so what does MetroPlan Orlando do? We are, by a creature of federal, state, and local laws, we must exist in order to coordinate transportation plans on a regional scale. So we are responsible for making sure that projects are prioritized when they are coming into the plan, and our board of directors is responsible for doing that. Some say that we plan today and shape tomorrow's transportation system, because one of our main plans is the creation of this 25-year plan that's called the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, and that is for Central Florida. I like to say that we are the keepers of the transportation vision, because we look out that far into the future and plan our transportation. Our vision, as you see on the screen, is a regional transportation system that safely and efficiently moves people and goods through a variety of options that support the region's vitality. And our mission for being able to do that is to provide the leadership in transportation planning by engaging the public and fostering effective relationships. And again, we have legal standing and authority. We are codified in federal law, state law, and by regional interlocal agreement, and a little bit of what we like to call regional goodwill. Our MetroPlan Orlando board officers elected late last year. Viviana Janer is our chairwoman from Osceola County. One that you may be familiar with from Orange County is Commissioner Myra Uribe. She is our vice president or vice chair, and she also serves as the chairwoman for the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board. And from Seminole County, our secretary is Commissioner Bob Delary. MetroPlan Orlando's board sets the policy, and they do that with the advice from our committees, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But I also wanted to let you all know that joining these three from Orange County are most of the Orange County Board of County Commissioners. All of the board members and the mayor are currently serving on the MetroPlan Orlando board as MetroPlan board members. And recently elected Commissioner Wilson is the odd man out, if you will, but she serves as alternate. And what that means is that if any of the board members are not able to make it to a board meeting, then she comes in and she represents Orange County in their place. And again, our board is responsible for prioritizing projects and determining how federal and state transportation dollars are being spent within the region. And this is the partnership that is MetroPlan Orlando. And as you can see, it requires a lot of coordination in how we work with our various partners from Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. It's also made up of the largest cities within each of those counties, and you see those logos there. Also represented on our board are transportation agencies, the Central Florida Expressway Authority, Florida Department of Transportation, Greater Orlando Aviation Authority, Lynx, who you're going to hear from in just a moment, and the Orlando Sanford Airport. All of these members, with the exception of the Florida Department of Transportation, are voting members on the MetroPlan Orlando board. Just a little bit about our staff. We are a lean, mean staff of 19, and we are headed up by our executive director, Gary Hutman. Gary has over 30 years of transportation planning experience, and he has been at the helm of the organization for almost 3 years now. He serves as the main liaison to the MetroPlan Orlando board, who I just described to you. Our internal workings are split into 3 primary functioning areas. Is the area of transportation planning, regional partnerships, and finance. Planning does all of those transportation plans. They take care of the studies and they implement programs that come along the way, and they are responsible for putting that regional transportation plan that I talked about, bringing that to fruition. Under regional partnerships, we handle all of the public relations. This group reports to me. We do all of our community outreach, legislative activities, government relations, and relationships with our partners. We're the ones that respond to the public when there are public requests. And of course, our finance department is the ones that manage the money having to do with our internal operations, including our human resources. So how does MetroPlan Orlando do all of this? Well, we do it with the guidance of the MetroPlan Orlando board, and the board considers all of their decisions are based on information that they receive, what we call the bottom-up approach. The bottom-up approach means that anything that is going to be approved or decided by the MetroPlan Orlando board is filtered through the lens of the Community Advisory Committee, on which Patricia Rump serves and represents the Pine Hills Community Council. Our Technical Advisory Committee is that committee that is made up of our transportation planners and engineers. And this one down on my left is the Transportation Systems Management and Operations Committee. They look at projects that are technology-based, anything that has to do with electric, connected, autonomous vehicles, variable message boards and signs, anything that moves traffic through using technology. The Municipal Advisory Committee is the mayors that are made up of the smaller cities that are not directly represented on the MetroPlan Orlando board. And so where do you fit into this? You fit in 3 places. The first is that you have that liaison in the name of Patricia Rump, who you can give your concerns to, and she can bring those through the Community Advisory Committee. You can come to our meetings and make direct public comments at any of our meetings that are open to the public, or you can invite us out to your community engagement activities like this meeting, where we're able to come out and give you information about transportation. So MetroPlan Orlando is responsible for 4 core projects. The first of which is the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, and this plan sets the direction for the next 25 years. The board adopted this plan back in December. This is the newest plan, and it will be revised every 5 years. And currently, the plan includes transportation projects with a price tag of $27.9 billion in federal, local, which is paid for with federal, local, and toll revenue. It includes projects that are your roads, widening, new roads, transit, technology, bicycle and pedestrian facilities and improvements. And the federal and state funded projects, they have to be within the plan in order for them to move forward. Our second core project or product is what I call our wish list. This is the list of projects that we know need to happen. However, there is no funds committed. Again, the Metropolitan Transportation Plan cannot be a list that is just thrown up against the wall. There has to be a funding mechanism that is tied to it in order to make it what we call financially feasible. And so projects sit in the prioritized project list, and as funding becomes available, those projects move up to the Transportation Improvement Program. Now, this is a 5-year program that totals about $7 billion, and these have funds that are already committed. So anything in the TIP has money that is committed to it, whether that is planning phase, whether it is right-of-way phase, whether it is construction phase. Those are the different phases. And then lastly, the core product that we are responsible for is our Unified Planning Work Plan, which is the MetroPlan Orlando budget. This is our internal operating budget, which is about $10 million a year. So why do we plan? There are many reasons that we plan ahead in our rapidly growing area. We want to balance the system, and we want one that is balanced that we can rely on to move people around the region. However, our region is most like most around the country. We're experiencing increased congestion. My husband and I were away this past weekend on our way over to the West Coast, and I was surprised at the congestion that was on the road. And one of the comments that he made was, wow, they just built these lanes on I-4. They just put these here, and already they're congested. And if you guys remember, we got this pandemic thing going on. A lot of people are still working from home, but the roadways are still congested. And that is one of the #1 reasons that we plan, is because of the congestion. The average person spends about $1,300 on average in terms of lost time and fuel. This slide, it should be updated, but here in Orlando, the picture is a little bit better than what it is in the national average, in that the average Orlando commuter spends about 74 hours. It's stuck in traffic. And this is when the system is open, when everyone is at work, 74 hours. That is almost 2 weeks of work where you are sitting in your car trying to get to work in traffic. And this costs about $1,037 per year. And one of the things that we have learned and we know is that we really can't eliminate congestion, but we can mitigate it and make commutes a lot more reliable. Adding to our congestion is that we have about 2.2 million people who currently live here, and we're expecting about 1 million more by the year 2045. So in the last 25 years, we have experienced some rapid growth, especially in Orange County. And by the time we reach 2045, the population of the county is expected to double by then. The highest growth areas that are anticipated are the UCF area, Lake Nona, Winter Garden, Ocoee area, Deseret Ranch, and the northern Ponciana and St. Cloud area. And you know, when people move, they don't stay in one place. They move around, and that's where that congestion comes in. Add to these 3.2 million people, we have about 75 million visitors who are here and on our roadways that are adding to the congestion. And although this has been hampered somewhat during the pandemic, we fully expect that tourism is going to return. In the busy times, this means that we have almost 500,000 people who are here almost on any given day using our transportation system. And so we have got to do what we can to mitigate these concerns. All right, so moving right along, let's talk a little bit about transportation technology. This is also always evolving, and we're committed to helping integrate these transportation technologies into our system. We have studies that are underway looking at connected and autonomous vehicles. We have a readiness study that is assessing the readiness of our region to integrate these new technologies onto public roads. We have very, very smart cars that are coming, smart cars that can drive themselves, smart cars that are aided by technology, but they have to drive on semi-intelligent roads. And so how do we get our roads to be as smart as the cars and the vehicles? We have travel time studies and signal retiming that are underway that also mitigate the congestion. Those travel time studies look at how long it takes to get from point A to point B. They come back and they assess the signals that you have to go through. So anytime you're out on the roadway and you get a green light and you're able to continue through that corridor and you get to the end and you're like, woohoo, I made it. I made it through every green light. That is on purpose. It is set so that when the congestion begins, the traffic signals change so that the signals are retimed and able to push that traffic through. We are also have a plan underway called the Intelligent Transportation System Management Plan. This also evaluates all of the technology across Central Florida. We have some pretty transformative projects that are underway. Our I-4 master plan with Wekiva Parkway, Sunrail, and the Coast to Coast Trail. We call these the Mega Four or the Big Four. These are transforming Central Florida. The I-4 Ultimate Project, the first phase is 21 miles. It's a reconstruction of the existing lanes, interchanges, and bridges. It's integrating some express lanes. This project is price tag was about $2.3 billion in public and private partnership. Most of the construction work on the non-tolled and interchanges was finished will be finished in early 2021. Again, my husband and I, on the way back from an appointment today, we drove on one of the new interchanges, and I was like, wow, this really is transforming our landscape. And although more paving work needs to be done, the express lanes are expected to be open in late 2021, along with some landscaping. The Wekiva Parkway completes the Beltway around Central Florida. This is a 25-mile toll road through parts of Orange, Seminole, and Lake counties. The project is being built in pieces by the Florida Department of Transportation and the Central Florida Expressway Authority. Sunrail, most of the original project is finished. Local leaders still need to look at ways to finish that northern link up to DeLand. The Central Florida Commuter Rail Commission took action at their last meeting that they have committed to finishing that project and going up to DeLand. And of course, it's important that we find a way to get that route open to go out to the Orlando International Airport, as well as figuring out how the local governments eventually will take control of Sunrail. Currently, the project covers about 49 miles and it includes 16 stations. It goes through 4 counties, and Lynx is important for that last mile connections along with bike share, car share, and ride share. The Coast to Coast Trail, not sure if you all have heard about this, but this is probably ecotourism at its best. We're working with the surrounding metropolitan planning organizations to complete that Coast to Coast Trail. There were some gaps in it. Funding was applied. About $10 million was set aside each year to complete those projects or those gaps. Here in our area, the Coast to Coast Trail includes the West Orange Trail, the Clarkona-Ocoee Trail, Pine Hills Trail, the Seminole-Wekiva Trail, Reinhardt, Spring to Spring, and the Spring to Spring Trail that goes into Volusia County. Real quickly, what's in it for me? Ms. Patricia asked me to take a look at a couple of TIP projects that are noted in the Transportation Improvement Program. The project that is at Silver Star and Powers Drive is a project that is described as traffic signals. It is funded for design this year in 2021 and construction in 2022-23. And primarily this is for traffic signal project. The signals are currently hanging from wires. And so the assumption I have at this point is that they'll be integrating some mast arms. This is an Orange County project. And so if there are additional information that you would need regarding that project, it is Orange County, and I would need to check with them. The second project is Powers Drive at North Lane. This is funded for construction in 2021-22. And these are a project that will improve the intersection. And most times when these projects are noted as intersection improvement, it is usually applicable to adding turn lanes or reconfiguring the intersections so that there is an improvement to safety and traffic flow. Again, this is an Orange County project, and it is funded for construction next fiscal year. So what's next? Our 2045 plan, again, is a 20-year horizon. It has to be updated every 5 years, and it has to be a balanced system that offers transportation choices, that identifies future needs, and not just identifying the needs, but identifying the solutions. And then it must be financially or cost feasible in order for us to place it in the plan. The emphasis areas for this is that the plan provides options for everyone. It safely moves people, it safely moves goods, and it puts people first. MetroPlan Orlando's #1 priority for transportation is safety. And as you all know, or may have heard, Orlando and the state of Florida is the #1 pedestrian death capital in the world. It's unfortunate, but it is. We are a product of our success in terms of tourism. We are a product of our weather, and that people are out walking and biking. And so MetroPlan Orlando works with organizations like Bike Walk Central Florida and the Best Foot Forward for Pedestrian Safety program. In fact, one of our legislative priorities this year is to seek funding to expand that program into some of the harder to reach areas, some of the smaller communities that may not have the funds to participate in the program. We're seeking a legislative appropriation to expand that and to go into some of the underserved communities, like some of the areas in Pine Hills. Other factors of our plan is that we feature bicycle and pedestrian, freight and goods movements, and environmental mitigation, and recommendations for improving transportation overall. Some other important highlights is that our plan includes expansion of bus and rail service, bicycle and pedestrian safety, as I just mentioned, freight, and something that we have recently integrated into our planning is health, public health. Because every transportation visit starts with you walking out of your door, whether you are going to catch a bus or whether you're walking to get into your vehicle. And so we know that public transportation can also mitigate some of the public health concerns in terms of people getting out walking and biking. We want to be able to do so safely. So I want to talk real quickly about how we pay for these projects. MetroPlan Orlando's funding pots and who decides how things are paid for. These are the four main funding options that we have for paying for transportation. Our federal dollars that flow to the Central Florida area, MetroPlan Orlando, Department of Transportation, and USDOT pretty much has control of how those dollars are spent. With regard to state dollars, that is pretty much dictated by the Florida Department of Transportation. There is funding, of course, that comes from our local governments, and that is also they weigh in, of course, on how their dollars are spent. And then a lot of people like to ask the question, well, why can't we spend toll revenue on local roads or on federal roads or on state roads? Well, there are bond covenants in place and that dictate that the funding and the revenues that are received by the Central Florida Expressway Authority must be put back into that system. It cannot be spent on off-system projects. And so again, our main source of funding is through the federal gas tax. And now I'm going to ask a quick question, a quick polling question. Can anybody tell me, or can you drop in the chat what the federal gas tax is right now? How much is the federal gas tax per gallon? Anybody? No. Anybody? All right. 18 cents per gallon, and that was in 1993. 18.4 cents per gallon. Now, it is not per sale, it is per gallon. So that's a little bit of a factoid there. And we have not even kept pace with the postage stamp, because in 1993, the postage stamp cost you 29 cents to mail a letter. And here in 2021, can anybody guess what the per gallon gas tax is? Anybody? Okay, I'll tell you.
18 cents.
18.4 cents in 2021. It is the same. And as you all know, it costs about 50 cents to mail a letter. So the federal gas tax is a regressive form of revenue. It has not kept pace with inflation. It has not kept pace with any other options that we have for paying for transportation. And so it is really unsustainable. And as vehicles become more fuel efficient, of course, if you have an electric vehicle, you're not paying that per gallon gas tax when you fill up your car. So here is where I want to do just a little bit more of engagement, some of the feedback that we have received. If money were to fall out of the sky, how would you spend it? How would you want to spend that? If anybody wants to drop a nugget or two in the chat. And Miss Patricia, if you can see the chat, how would you spend it? Would you spend it on more bus? Would you spend it on traffic signals, safety projects? Would you add more bike lanes? Those that we have heard from through our public engagement and public involvement, some of the common themes are that 25% of our respondents want to see more bus and they want to see more rail. They want to see smart signals and technology, because they understand that if I can get my traffic signal retimed, if I can get those traffic signals to recognize when my vehicle is sitting at an intersection and there's no one going in the opposite direction, that it will let me through. Those are the type projects that they are interested in. And of course, safety is always number one. And so this is going to conclude my presentation tonight. I just want to take a look at some of the chats that some of the things that people have said. Thank you so much. The safety is certainly number one. Pedestrian safety, sidewalks and safety, bike lanes, more smart transportation. So thank you all so much for your comments tonight. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Jeff Rainey. And I think we will have time for questions for both of us at the end if there's time. If not, I want to say thank you all for having me tonight. And I look forward to being with you all a little bit more. I'm excited about the Pine Hills Community Council.
Thank you, Virginia. And what I want to do before I jump into my presentation, just to touch on that safety aspect, actually MetroPlan is sponsoring some corridor safety studies. So this week, if you're out in the Silver Star corridor, and you see people with vests on, there'll be people there from DOT, the Neighborhood Improvement District, from all sorts of jurisdictions, looking specifically in the area. So MetroPlan and picked, they're called roadway safety audits. So we've looked at the areas that have historical crashes and some safety characteristics needed. That's how they picked the corridors. So the Lynx team, we've got 2 or 3 people that are going to be out there for different parts of the rest of the week, and then we will bring those back and report in, and then a report will come out of that. And one of the great things that's been with these roadway safety audits is a lot of time there's going to be some longer term fixes, but one thing we've found is there's a lot of quick fixes that can be done, whether it's from a transit bus stop or some other things. So if you see some people, like I said, with yellow vests out there, that's what we're doing out on the Silver Star corridor. So with that, Patricia, I think I just need to share my screen, right?
Yes, I think I made you co-host. You should be able to do something. Is it working for you?
I think it will. 1 second.
Good.
Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I know I've been before y'all talking about the Pine Hills Transfer Center, probably all the purple, like that bus in the face. So I thought I'd switch it up just for a little bit and just do a little bit of Transit 101. And so just to give some background on Lynx. So just to give you guys a little bit of history, we were established in 1972 as a SOTA, which is the Orange Seminole Osceola Transportation Authority. Exactly like MetroPlan, we serve the Tri-County area here. It's became Tri-County Transit in 1984 and began doing business as Lynx in 1992. And the Lynx acronym actually stands for absolutely nothing. People have said, what does the L, the Y, and the X stand for? Nothing. We did actually a naming contest way back in 1992. And from what I've heard, it was a grade school student that came up with it. So, and then in 1994, we became the mouthful known as the Central Florida Regional Transportation Authority. So our official name is Central Florida Regional Transportation Authority, DBA, doing business as Lynx. So as mentioned before, we do serve Orange, Seminole, Osceola. We serve some small portions of Polk County and Lake County. That service area is 2,500 square miles, so and roughly a population of 2 million. This is our current executive leadership as of our last board meeting. Actually, Dana Baker went from being our interim chief operating officer.
Jeff, your screen is not moving.
It's not moving.
No, it's the same slide.
Let me try something. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing and then I'll reshare again.
Okay.
Let us try it this way.
Okay.
Now?
Okay, that's the history. Okay, there we go.
There we go. Okay, let me know if it does that again, and I'll just redo that. So
okay.
Here on our chart, we've got Jim Harrison is our Chief Executive Officer. Mr. Harrison actually used to be with Orange County as of our January board meeting. He actually became a permanent employee of Lynx. So he'd been our interim for about 1.5 years. Tiffany Homer Hawkins is our Chief Administrative Officer. Dana is our Chief Operating Officer. William Slott is our Chief Information Officer, and then Bert's our CFO. So our next slide here. So one of the things we operate, so 70 fixed routes, 13 flexible routes that we call neighbor links, which are, I liken those, I'll talk about them a little bit later. We liken them to Lyft and Uber, if you will, but for buses. The 25 million annual trips was pre-pandemic. We are actually, because of the pandemic, we are running all of our routes, but they're, we've got about 50% of the ridership that we had pre-pandemic.
What just happened?
I am not sure. There we go. My slides are a little intensive for when they go to transition, so sorry that's taken a minute. So on this next slide, you can see all the types of service that we offer. So we offer fixed route and fast links. Fast links is basically just a limited stop fixed route bus. We've got one of those down on Colonial Drive that does that. Access links is our complimentary transportation for the disabled. By law, we have to serve within 3/4 of a mile of a bus stop, but our funding partners have elected to extend that to our entire service area. My wife actually does use Access Link on occasion. So theoretically, she could call for an Access Link trip either to her doctor or even recreationally to go from here all the way to Kissimmee if she wanted to, and back. Limo is our free circulator downtown. We actually are actually testing out electric buses on that.
Okay.
Neighbor Link down there and your left will be those neighborhood circulators we were talking about. We also have van pool. And then the Road Ranger on all of the area except for the new I-4. So when you get further south of the and further north on I-4 and you see the Road Rangers, that's actually underneath Lynx. So just to give you an idea of the makeup of our riders, well over 50% of them are employed full-time. 50% of them are work commuters. Over 60% of them do not have access to a car. 42% are employed in the service industry. Just under 20% are students. And 93% of them actually live fairly close to a bus stop. They walk a 1/4 mile or less. 43% of them use cash. We actually do have a PAW Pass where they don't even have to have cash on them anymore. The average age is 37, and 45% of them are actually able to make their trip on one single bus. And the average household income is just under $30,000. So Lynx actually operates 3 major facilities. We've got our headquarters downtown that we call LCS, our operations center over there at John Young and Princeton called LOC. We have a satellite facility at, down in Osceola County. We are actually looking, there'll be a board item going to our board of directors this month to start the process of looking at a southern operations site. The Osceola facility holds about 40 buses. And then with what I do, so my job at Lynx is construction. So I'm the senior project manager there for construction. So we have just under 4,500 bus stops and just under 1,200 bus shelters. And actually, if you go look at us jurisdictionally compared to some other jurisdictions here in Florida, we're about on parity with what they are. A lot of our limitations are right away. As you guys know, there's places where there's ditches. There's places, a good examples along Powers Drive. I don't want to put a bus shelter in your front yard, no matter how much you want one there. So this next slide will give you an idea just of how our frequency of our bus routes and the amount of routes that have that frequency. And then next slide here will give you an idea of our operating budget from 2020. So our total budget represents about $157 million. So our current 2021 budget has been status quo to keep the same level of funding as 2020. So you'll see in there, there's about 10% of that for CARES Act funding. We actually have gotten CARES Act funding that has allowed us to set up a stabilization fund. Our funding partners are paying us at the same rate. So we've been using that. So you're not seeing what you currently have seen in some of the legacy systems, at least right now, of major cuts to service. So the next slides, I'm not going to go. I'm happy to send this slide deck to whoever wants it, but it'll just give you an idea of some of the characteristics that make up each of the types of service that we do. Like I said, I'm just going to go through these really quick, but like I said, this gives you an idea of how much it costs, operating costs, and similar things like that. So if anybody wants a slide deck, I'll put my email address in the chat, and then you can let me know as well. So let me just go through these real quick. Sorry about that. So one of the things we are actually working on trying to do though as well is partner with the transportation network companies, TNCs, that's your Uber and Lyfts and taxi service. Actually, some of our paratransit trips are actually contracted out to Mears Transportation and other similar services. We actually tried working with some of the transportation network companies like Uber and Lyft, but that got a little interesting when we asked them to be drug tested. So since they're contract employees. Mears actually had 185 drivers volunteer the next day to do that so that they could take advantage of that. So there will be cases if you have somebody who signs up for Access Links, if they don't need assistive service, they don't need somebody to come and help them to the vehicle. I'll use my wife as a good example. She is mobile, so she can get to a taxi service. So she's actually been picked up by a taxi to go to some of her doctor's appointments. So, I mean, one of our things of using these TNCs and the taxis and some of our neighbor links, like I said, I mentioned those neighbor links. Pine Hills has actually got a neighbor link that basically is bordered by Hiawassee, Colonial, Silver Star, Pine Hills Road. And what those are designed to do is literally, we've got an app that you can do it, or you can call it in. On the app, you can track it just like you would an Uber and a Lyft. Costs you the same as it does for a regular fixed route bus. Serve anything where within that area I just gave you. It's usually 2 or 3 square miles it serves. Whole goal is to get you to a fixed route bus, but anywhere within that service area, that 3 square miles, you can request a trip, go do your grocery shopping, request a trip back home, and it will drop you off at the curb of your house for the same price as a regular Lynx bus.
Okay.
So much like MetroPlan was speaking of, we've actually got a staff member entirely engaged on emerging and automated transit. So we're staying engaged on on-demand transit, driverless shuttles and buses, and all sorts of things like that. So we're actively involved in that as well. Give you a little, Virginia touched a lot on funding and what have you, and this is just to touch a little bit on that from the Lynx perspective as well. So when it comes to how Lynx works, so transportation planning, you can have the state agency, in this case FDOT, that administers your federal transportation and transit programs. The MPO down there at the bottom that does our policy making board, carries out the metropolitan planning process that Virginia explained. You can have true multimodal transit agencies like Jacksonville Transit Authority, who operate more than one mode of transit. Up there, they've got bus rapid transit, and the people mover, but they also do streets, highways, and bridges. We don't do all of that. And then you could also have your Department of Public Works and Transportation, which is something like Miami-Dade, who does public works and transit services. And then you have us, a state chartered transit agency, responsible for multiple jurisdictions, is what Lynx is. So our funding comes from various sources. Our local funding partners make up the lion's share of our operating budget. We have formula funding we get based on annual appropriations from the federal government. We actually, it was mentioned earlier, some of those metropolitan statewide MPO projects, we've got those. We do get a lot of dollars from the FTA. A good chunk of what I end up doing is that number you see there, 5307 projects are what I do for the capital projects that we fund, like the Pine Hills Transfer Center. So, and then we've got some FDOT programs as well. So there are sometimes some discretionary funding that are based on a competitive application process. Some time ago, we did a Ladders of Opportunity grant where we asked for additional buses, and we were actually, as part of that, we just casually asked for $1 million towards building a transfer center in Pine Hills and actually got it. So we do have some discretionary things like that as well. And then there's also some other grant programs where there's an 80% federal funding and 20% local match. We've used some of those type of projects. You'll hear like low emissions grants. There was a Tiger grant that helped us build some of the infrastructure for our new limo projects downtown. There are some specific FDOT grant programs. We're actually using one of those programs for that provided us half the funding to expand our operations center at Don Young and Princeton to house our paratransit facilities. So, and then sometimes we can actually get some local jurisdiction dollars actually from a grant perspective as well. We actually did get some local dollars from Orange County that actually helped us purchase the property over for Pine Hills. And then my last slide is to give you a brief update on Pine Hills Transfer Center. So this is what it's going to look like. We are currently in permitting. 90% permitted plans have actually been submitted to the county, are currently being reviewed. Once we get comments back on those, we will go to 100% plan submittal. And so we're still on track to get this thing started and getting it out to bid as quickly as we can to start construction. We're hoping this summer. So this was the design that was chosen by the community. We actually, as a lot of you have been part of that process, we're going to have what you'll see there is in that bottom left picture, we will have a customer service facility and security will be there, driver's lounge and restrooms. There is room for future vertical development. We're actually approved for up to 50,000 square feet, but we took direction from Orange County and we're getting our project permitted first. There'll be some parking for the transfer center there. You'll see that in the top picture there, closer to the power line easement area. That parking will serve our building, but it'll also serve as this is going to probably end up being a trailhead, if you will, for the Pine Hills Trail. There's some, we'll be sharing, we're going to be building a shared parking lot that will be, you'll access that actually through the Urban League's driveway. We actually did get all of our legal agreements approved. We got our development review committee approved back in December. That allowed us to go into permitting. So we'll be able to house 8 buses here in terms of doing transfers. And then within that parking lot, we will actually have a place for the neighbor link or access links to actually drop people off. And then the plan as well is street side, Uber and Lyft can also pick up there as well. And I know one question that'll come up will be lighting along Belco. So we have coordinated with Duke and Orange County because they together are working on, Lynx was going to be, so Lynx's construction project, we're improving the signals at Belco and Pine Hills. We're also going to be putting a signal, a full signal at Belco and Silver Star. We are actually going to be completely rebuilding the roadway from Belco and Silver Star all the way up to Belco and Pine Hills. So it will be a brand new roadway because independent of us there or not, it fails in about a year from a construction standpoint. So what we are, Orange County though and Duke Energy are working for lighting that's not associated with the project. Any lighting that's needed at the transfer center or adjacent to it, we're paying for, but anything like on the north side of Belco Road, that's being done through Duke and Orange County. One of the things that you'll have that the trail will come in on the south side of this project, just west of the gas station. And then we're going to build, the trail will come be along the west side here, as you see the canopy there. And then it will go along the north side of Belco Road, where it will then interact, the county completely separate from us, but in conjunction with this project is actually working on in the next year or two, from my understanding, start construction on the Pine Hills Trail going north on the east side of Pine Hills Road. So we'll have a perfect, like I said, this would be the, if Lynx wasn't there, the missing piece, if you will, that'll be completed. So it's been a long process and a lot of you guys have been through this process since the beginning. So it's finally exciting to finally be in permitting. So that means the home stretch is there. We can actually see the light at the end of the proverbial tunnel. So, and like I said, I'll send this to anyone that wants it. It was just to give you the brief overview of Lynx and what have you. So.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff and Virginia. But Jeff, do we have an expected completion date for this project?
So
anything?
it's our construction schedule from the time of construction, so is just a little over 12 months. So like I said, our hope is to start construction mid to late summer, depending on how long it takes us permitting wise.
Okay.
And like I said, we're in permitting right now with the county and it's going well. The beauty of this is we've had a lot of public involvement on this with the county from the get-go. And so that's been very helpful in permitting. We haven't had any big surprises. So 12 to 14 months is the maximum we're looking at from that perspective.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
Yep.
Does anyone else have any questions for either Miss Virginia or Jeff? I don't see anything on Facebook. I got a question. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Patricia, this is Dr. Nichols. I did post 2 questions in the chat box, and I'll just go ahead and state those. I wanted to first off thank Virginia for that information, very informative. Are there brochures, Virginia, that we can look at for the specific programs and the projected timelines for the projects that were identified?
Yes, MetroPlan, if you go to metroplanorlando.org, it does have a list there of, there's actually an interactive TIP. All of our plans are there, but there is an interactive component of our transportation improvement program where you can hone in on different roadways that will give you more details about those projects.
Okay. I got a question. Finish up, Dr. Nichols, I'm sorry.
No, my second question was to Jeff, and it primarily deals with the bus stops. How are the bus stops determined as far as positioning? when it comes to, we're talking about traffic signals and safeties, et cetera. Are we looking at the long-term plans for how those are placed and positioned on these major corridors?
And that's actually a great question. We've actually got 2 entire staff members internally at Lynx in our service planning department that actually manage that. So one of the things we're in the process of doing, prior to the pandemic, the mayor was looking at a tax initiative. One of the things we were looking at there was the whole route optimization as part of that, what made sense service-wise. One thing that came out of that is, does it make sense to have the amount of bus stops we have? Because sometimes they're really close to each other. So
yes,
one of the things is on Silver Star Road, what we're working on this year as well. Some other things we're working on is starting to repaint some of the shelters. And then we're going to repaint the whole rest of the corridor in 2022. So as part of that, I worked with our service plan, particularly like I said on Silver Star, to go anytime I'm going to do work on a corridor, whatever improvements it is, they will go and do basically a stop optimization study to figure out. Our rough spacing is in the urban area, such as like Silver Star Road is every quarter mile is what we look at. So yeah, if you've ever got a concern over, I will put my email address in the chat. If you've ever got a question of why a stop is where it is, let me know, and we'll be happy to have Jennifer Hall and Cliff Satter are my 2 service planners that do.
I have a question for Virginia. There was a traffic study done in 2019 on Powers and Silver Star by FDOT. Who do you recommend that we could have to come here to talk about that traffic study? What was the outcome of that traffic study, and what was the recommendation from that traffic study from they did for Powers and Silver Star?
The DOT staff from District 5 would be happy to appoint someone to come. I'm going to throw a name out for you, and I can drop her email address in for you. But Anna Taylor, she would assign the staff to come out to do that presentation.
She's the one that's on the Community Advisory Committee meetings. Anna Taylor is.
Yes,
okay.
She attends all of those meetings, and she would be the one to have someone to come out to do that presentation for you.
So I think that'd be very helpful information. That's something that we have been pushing for that traffic study, and it'd be good for the body and those that's on this call tonight to hear what was the outcome of that traffic study and what was recommended. I know a little bit of it, but I want to hear it from firsthand from FDOT for those that's on this call tonight. Thank you. Ken?
Patricia, there was one question we had, it looks like here from,
thank you.
I'm looking for it, from Myra. So like I said, I'll put my email in the chat. Let me know on Powers Drive where we're talking about wanting potential shelters and what have you. Put my email in the chat here. I could do an entire meeting on how we place bus shelters, and I don't want to keep everybody here till 2 in the morning.
Good.
But one of the things that we do end up with, and I do use Powers Drive as a good example, is depending where on Powers Drive, we do have criteria that we look at ridership wise and everything else. But one of the things we look at certainly is going to be not being in a person's front yard. So when you get into the more residential areas that we do have bus service, that's where it gets a little tricky. Orange County as well, we can reach out to them if there's a desire for benches. They actually have a private contractor that does benches. So I would just say, Myra, you want to send me an email, let me know where you're thinking, and something we can certainly take a look at.
Thank you.
And I'm emailing myself everybody's emails right now. I didn't realize how massive this slide deck is, so I will try and send it to everybody, or get it in a zip file or something for everybody.
And there's another question, Jeff. Will trash containers be placed at all or most bus stops?
I would love to, but trash is about $500,000 or $650,000 endeavor for Lynx the current way it is. We do have Adopt a Stop, but we unfortunately don't have. I mean, you can imagine with $4,500 bus stops, trash pickup's roughly $3 a pickup, times twice a week, times 52 weeks in a year. That's a big price tag. So If we do have areas though that we've got the concerns at trash can wise as well, let us know and we can see what we can do. We do try and get the highest impact stops. We were able to actually partner, good examples with the NID, had expressed some interest in getting additional trash cans over on Silver Star and key locations on Pine Hills and Hiawassee. And so they've got a gentleman that they've hired staff member wise that actually goes and empties those. So something we would love to do. It's not every stop needs a trash can, but like I said, if you're starting to see an area that's got a particular trash issue, let me know. Especially if you do see the benches that are along Silver Star, and some of those along Power and Colonial Drive, their contract does not require them to put trash cans at those benches, but their contract does require them to maintain trash. So we do, our guys keep a log of which ones those are and let that company called Creative Outdoor know and the county know. So my email again's in the chat. I am more than willing, and I put my work cell phone in there as well. I am more than willing to have that conversation with folks about how we could handle that. But like I said, would love to, but from a cost perspective.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions? We are right at 8 o'clock. Do we have any more questions? Bettina? You're on mute. Unmute your thing.
I'm wondering how the solar trash can compactors are working and if we can get any more.
Solar compactors, we've decided not to go with those anymore. They became more of a software thing than a hardware thing. You actually have to upgrade the software on them every 3 years, or they won't talk to you anymore. Those things actually were 3G, then 4G, and now they want you to upgrade to 5G.
So you're actually taking them out.
Yeah, so the ones that we still have out there, we're just treating like normal trash cans. I mean, it became more of we did a test of about, we did a small test and then a bigger test.
Right.
And it's just not worth trying to, from an operational perspective. I mean, they're great in theory, but we found one of the best keys for us is just having a good trash contractor. So we've got a good trash contractor who he pushes the button every time he gets out of the vehicle, so we know exactly when he's picked up trash. And that's all those solar power compactors were theoretically doing, is telling us when they needed to be emptied. So
okay.
Yeah, we've got a pretty flexible trash contractor. So
we're gonna get Ken. Ken, did you have a question? Because it's after 8, and I want the viewers to be able to come back to another meeting. But I want to say this: the Pine Hills Community Council hosts these meetings, but this is your community meeting. So please let us know things, hot topics that you would like for the council to bring, for you to be informed about. Again, the council hosts these meetings, but these meetings are put on for the community. So send me an email at info@pinehills.info, info@pinehills.info. Send me an email or go to our website at pinehills.info and let us know what opportunities that you want to bring to this council meeting. And I think we do want to follow up with Ms. Anna Taylor for that, the Powers Drive and that Silver Star survey is very interesting. So we will bring them back, FDOT. Hopefully she would assign someone. I'll reach out to her. Thank you, Ms. Whittington, and see if she can assign someone to come to talk to us more about that that Powers Drive, but in that intersection. Thank you. Ken,
I'm
did
happy
you want
to
to
let
come
her
up?
know ahead of time. So I'll call her tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Again, join the council, people, Pine Hills Community Council, become a member so we could partner and make Pine Hills what we want Pine Hills to look like. Do we have any more comments before we wind down? So no more comments. Again, thank you.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes.
Hello, good night, everyone. My name is Lionel White. I thought that the first presentation was very interesting with the 45-year plan, and I wanted to know if I'm interested. I wanted to know, is there a system in place where this community council is actively securing contracts for persons in the Pine Hills community so that they can be a part of the growth that will be taking place? For example, even in like trucks, construction stuff, stuff like that.
That's really not the Pine Hills Community Council position, but email me and so I can find out more of what you're asking for, Lionel. Please, I gave you my email information. Please do that. info@pinehills.info. I would love to want to know more about what you're asking before I say yay or nay, so we can see how we can assist you. If we cannot assist you, guide you in a direction where we be able to bring help in. Again, I'm Patricia Rumpf. And
Thank
did you
you.
write? Yeah, email me at info@pinehills.info. And I do respond to email. Good question. Thank you very much. Thank you. So are we all clear? Okay, I'll see y'all next month. And we got great speakers lined up. Again, send me information how we can bring in hot topics for you. Thank you. And become a member. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for having me. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.